What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's up to a great week. Getting some fun in. Summer's, August is here this week. Basically got a month left of summer. Then everybody's going back to school. The kids go back to school, back to the routine, and finish out strong. We're gonna be halfway through the third quarter soon. It's crazy. It goes so fast. It's hard to even most people it's like a blur. It's hard to process. That's why you have to stay ahead of your marketing. You have to stay ahead of your business plan. You have to stay ahead of your education. Things got to be planned out a year in advance. Take the month of December to plan out, to work with your team to plan out the majority of your year, all your marketing initiatives, and really set yourself up for success. Today I want to talk about the Mastermind principle and the powerful, in a sense, return on investment that you get from masterminds. And if you go back, the best book that's ever been written on the mastermind principle is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's one of the more famous business books out there. I recommend it to everybody in our mastermind. I recommend it to everybody that comes to our business seminars. I give it to my entire staff and have them read it. Basically, after years and years of researching the richest men in the world at the time when Napoleon Hill wrote this book, so we're talking like Carnegie, Vanderbilt, and so forth. What he found was that Ford, even a lot of those guys, what he found was that these people inadvertently, whether knowingly or otherwise, enacted the mastermind principle in that they formed a group of people to consort with in a variety of ways to create ideas, and then those ideas then translated into great changes in business, industry, finance, science, commercialization, whatever it was at the time, right? So I had this discussion with a few people on a call a couple weeks ago. That's what made me think of this. And if you look back in history, even just the history of our country, right? Obviously the mastermind principle has been used for, thousands of years in a variety of ways. But you look at this country, the founding fathers, right? Those guys formed a mastermind. They formed a group of people, like-minded individuals that sought to leave, the old world to create a new world in their vision, and they shaped America. You had 7 guys who wrote the Declaration of Independence and basically the Constitution for an entire country. It's wild, right? And when you think of that power and what came out of that, small group, hidden backdoor, meetings, hidden agendas, top secret. At the time, they would have been killed if they got found out, by the King of England and stuff. And that mastermind group founded this country. And then you fast forward, to the late 1800s and such, and you had, the men who built America, again, Vanderbilt, Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, Thomas Edison, Ford, these guys, top secret meetings. They wanted to reshape the financial situations, create the U.S. banks. They did all sorts of crazy stuff back then by utilizing the mastermind principle. They used to have secret meetings, in another state, and meet to discuss how they were going to change the banking industry, and meet and to discuss how they were going to change the railroad industry and dominate the railroad industry, right? And so the mastermind principle has been utilized forever and ever and ever. Now, my own experience in the gym business, I was ignorant, stupid, and I was a meathead, and all I cared about was lifting weights, and I was always good at connecting, and I was always good with people, but I never really had the money. And I didn't realize that, you could form your own mastermind without spending a dime. I was always thinking about, hey, I got to go to this, weekend symposium, or I got to go to this. And I was going to surround myself with better people, right? And level up. and it was always come down to money. But I inadvertently formed my own mastermind, inadvertently, by getting together my accountant, lawyer, my finance guy, my family. And when I was going to open up my business and such, I held like a couple meetings, and we all got together. I took them out to the diner, cheap, and we had some coffee, had a little lunch, and talked about, my vision for growing this business and bringing this gym business to life. And that was like my first, business mastermind, right? I had 3 really, really successful, businessmen, a lawyer, an accountant, and a finance guru, and some of my family members who, have been in business. My mom, I don't talk about it too much, but my mom, owned restaurants, a bakery, a little luncheonette, like all different types of stuff her whole life, and has always been super creative and things like that, and always been involved in customer service. So she's always been a great resource. I've worked in the restaurant business since I was a little boy, right? So that always translated to great customer service and understanding the needs of customers, things like that. So that was my first mastermind. And then years and years went by, college, opened my gym, and it wasn't until about 2011, after Dan and I had partnered up for 2 years, and we were starting to hit the ceiling a little bit, and we were doing really well, but we were having lots of mistakes because I've talked about it many times. We didn't have the systems to support the growth, right? We had a lot of growth and not a lot of systemization going on, right? So things were getting more and more chaotic week by week. So I knew we needed some change. I knew we needed to, to get some help. So, we finally plunked down the money and hired a business coach and joined the mastermind and became part of a mastermind group and had weekly calls, had accountability checkups, had to answer, had the homework to do, and it forced me to stop saying I don't have time to create these systems. It forced me to stop saying, well, I'll just hire somebody to write my copy, or I'll just hire somebody to do this, or you know what I mean? No, do that shit yourself. And I know you work hard. I know it's a lot of work. I spent the next few years working 7 days a week, nonstop, night and day. I would leave the gym at 9 o'clock at night. Dan and I would close the gym at literally 9:30. And I would work till midnight, and I would go home and write and create the systems, and Dan would write the emails, and it was like we were working literally, 18 hours a day for a couple years to get this stuff done. And so when I hear people tell me well, can I just buy this, gym launch, or can I buy this system or buy this system? And it's like, well, yeah, but it's probably way better to do it yourself because A, it's free. Nobody takes a piece of it, and B, it's authentic. It's going to come from your voice, your state of mind, your piece of the pie. So the mastermind principle is super, super important. This past week I was at another 2-day mastermind, and it was all about sales and marketing and business development. And man, what a level up experience! Really great, just an unbelievable experience. And I've worked with guys like my boys. I've worked with Vince Gabriel, worked with Pat Rigsby, worked with Alan Cosgrove, worked with, tons and tons of people in the industry. Brian Lee, a guru who has transcended the gym industry. And every time I've joined a mastermind, plunked down some money, had some accountability, had somebody checking in on me, right? We leveled up. 1,000%, right? Always, literally, figuratively and literally, right? In my latest venture, mastermind, we've brought in literally almost 1,000 leads from the marketing initiatives that I've gained from the mastermind that I was in recently. And so those things are the reason why I will spend, $20, $30, even $50,000, to be part of these things, because I know that if I plunk down 10, 15 grand, that generally I'm going to make, 10 times that, easily, make 150 grand, easily, if not more. All right, so if you want to level up, you got to get a group of people that's like-minded, that are fighting the same fight you are, that are in the trenches with you, and maybe they've done a little bit more than you have. Get it.